Hey lovely people out there, welcome to my YouTube channel and thanks for clicking on this video. In our previous video lecture, we started with a very interesting concept and that particular concept was about our cholinergic receptors. In our previous video lecture, we broadly classified our cholinergic receptor into two important categories. The very first important category was muscarinic receptor and the second one was known as nicotinic receptor. We further started with the concept of our muscarinic receptor and we saw कि ये जो muscarinic receptor present होते हैं it can be further classified into 5 important sub-classification starting from M1 to M5. Out of this ये जो M4 and M5 होते हैं they are mainly present in our central nervous system. So we need to mainly focus on our three important receptors, that is M1, M2 and M3. Now out of this three receptors, ये जो M1 होते हैं and M3 receptor होते हैं, they are mainly stimulatory receptor and जो M2 receptor होते हैं, they are mainly considered to be as inhibitory receptor. So in our previous video lecture, we saw कि हमारे आईज में कौन सा muscarinic receptor present होता है and the answer is M3 muscarinic receptor. Then we move to the concept of our human heart and our human heart is very well decorated with our M2 muscarinic receptor. Then we saw कि हमारे जो bronchial smooth muscles होते हैं वहाँ पे कौन सा muscarinic receptor present होता है and the answer is we have M3 muscarinic receptor. So in this particular video lecture, let us see what we are going to study. So in today's presentation, we are mainly going to see what are all receptors present on our endothelium, gastrointestinal tract and detrusor muscle. Then we will move on to our concept of our nicotinic receptor. Then हमने previous video lecture में सिर्फ जो हमारे कोलिनर्जिक रिसेप्टर एगोनिस्ट वाले जो ड्रग्स होते हैं उसका सिर्फ हमने क्लासिफिकेशन देखा था. So today we are going to see the examples of our directly acting para-sympathomimetic drug and also we are going to see the concept of true and pseudo cholinesterases. So let us see कि ये जो रिसेप्टर प्रेजेंट होता है on our endothelium वो कौन सा रिसेप्टर प्रेजेंट होता है. So the very first point is there is no direct cholinergic supply present in our blood vessel, but जो हमारे endothelial present होते हैं, endothelial smooth muscle present होते हैं, वहाँ पे we have M3 receptor on it. Now जब ये M3 receptor endothelial smooth muscle पे जब हम stimulate करते हैं, that is when acetylcholine stimulates our M3 receptor present on vascular endothelial cells, it releases something very important substance and the name of that substance is nitric oxide, which is endothelium dependent relaxing factor. Now ये जो nitric oxide होता है that is a very strong vasodilator and हमें ये पता है कि जब भी हम blood vessels को dilate करते हैं तो जो blood pressure होता है वो कम हो जाता है. So whenever we are stimulating our M3 muscarinic receptor which is present on our endothelial smooth muscle cells, what it will do? It will further release nitric oxide and ये जो nitric oxide है it is a very potent vasodilator and उसके वजह से जो blood pressure होता है वो कम हो जाएगा. Now let us see कि कौन सा receptor is present on our gastrointestinal tract. Now let's think logically कि let's suppose कि आप कोई stressful condition में नहीं हो. In that free stressful condition हमारी body एकदम relax है and in that condition हम बहुत सारा खाना खा सकते हैं. That means to digest our food we need something that is our gastric juices हमें चाहिए and और भी बहुत सारे secretions का जो सिक्रीशन है वो बढ़ना चाहिए. दैट मीन्स कि जो हमारे GIT में जो सिक्रीटरी सेल्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं दे नीड टू बी स्टिम्युलेटेड सो दैट इन अवर स्ट्रेस फ्री कंडीशन हम प्रॉपरली खाना खा सकते हैं एंड वो खाने को डाइजेस्ट कर सकते हैं. सो फॉर दिस हमने एक रिसेप्टर पढ़ा था दैट इज मेनली स्टिम्युलेटरी रिसेप्टर एंड दैट इज M1 एंड M3 एंड दोनों के रिसेप्टर ये जो गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टाइनल ट्रैक्ट के जो सेल्स होते हैं वहां पे प्रेजेंट होते हैं. So what it will do? It will increase the gastric secretions. So in our gastrointestinal tract, we have M1 receptor as well as we have our M3 receptor. But ये जो हमारे जो sphincter होते हैं, तो sphincter need to be relaxed. So for relaxation, we do not need to stimulate those sphincter. So उसके लिए we have a very good concentration of our M2 receptor present on our sphincter and sphincter में M3 भी होता है but the concentration of M2 receptor is more on our sphincter. So just remember कि gastrointestinal का जो secretion है वो बढ़ जाएगा and जो sphincter है वो relax हो जाएंगे and जो peristaltic movement है that will also increase which is helping in the process of digestion. Now जो हमारे urinary bladder में एक important muscle होता है and the name of that particular muscle is detrusor muscle. Now just think कि अगर हम कोई stressful condition में नहीं है that is the best time to eliminate all the waste product from our human body. Now for the elimination of all the wasteful product from our human body, ये जो urinary bladder में जो detrusor muscle है that need to be contracted. So ये जो receptor है that need to be stimulatory receptor and we have two important stimulatory receptor that is M1 and M3. But as I told you कि जितने भी हमारे smooth muscles होते हैं they are mainly having M3 muscarinic receptor. So similarly यहाँ पे भी जो हमारा detrusor muscle है it is also having M3 muscarinic receptor. So what it will do? It will contract and जो भी urination है that urine will get passed out and जो urine का outflow है वो बढ़ जाएगा. So our urinary bladder के जो detrusor muscle है that is basically having a very important receptor that is M3 muscarinic receptor. Now जो भी हमारे exocrine glands होते हैं for example salivary gland हो गए lacrimal glands हो गए इसका secretion basically बढ़ जाता है. Now ये जो salivary glands होते हैं they need to be stimulated. Why we need to stimulate our salivary gland? The answer is very simple. Because whenever we are not under any kind of stressful condition, we can eat well. And अगर खाने को अगर हमें digest करना है, then we need saliva. So जो saliva का जो secretion है, वो बढ़ना चाहिए. So in that particular scenario, जितने भी हमारे exocrine glands होते हैं, they are mainly loaded with our M3 muscarinic receptor. That is a stimulatory type of receptor. Now this was all about of our muscarinic receptor. Now let us move on to our second important receptor and that is our nicotinic receptor. Now as I told you कि ये जो nicotinic receptor होता है that is can be further subclassified into two main categories. Very first one is known as NN type of nicotinic receptor and the second one is NM type of nicotinic receptor. Now ये जो NN type of nicotinic receptor present होता है that is mainly present in our autonomic ganglia and it is mainly present in our adrenal medulla. So जब हमने sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve fiber के बारे में जब हमने डिस्कस किया था वहाँ पे हमने देखा था कि जो प्री गैंग्लियोनिक हमारे नर्व फाइबर्स होते हैं they are releasing acetylcholine. So ये जो acetylcholine है that is working on our NN type of nicotinic receptor and जो further transaction है या फिर जो further transmission है वो possible होता है. So mainly जो हमारे ganglia present होते हैं whether it is of sympathetic nervous system or of parasympathetic nervous system all our preganglionic nerve fiber they have nicotinic that is NN type of nicotinic receptor. Now जो second important है that is known as NM type of receptor. Now ये जो NM type of receptor present होते हैं they are mainly present at our neuromuscular junction. Now, जब हमने क्लासिफिकेशन पढ़ा था, we classified our cholinergic agonist into two main categories. Very first one is directly acting and the second one is indirectly acting. Directly acting can be further classified into two main subclassification, that is cholinesters and the second one is alkaloids. Now, आज के इस वीडियो लेक्चर में let us see the examples of our directly acting cholinergic agonist. So, directly acting cholinergic receptor agonist, we have cholinesters and we have alkaloids. Now, in our cholinesters, there are three important examples. The very first important example is our acetylcholine. The second one is known as bethanicol and the third one is known as carbachol. जो second classification है, that is alkaloids. In alkaloids, we have two important examples. The very first one is known as pilocarpine and the second one is known as muscarinic. Now let us see कि ये जो acetylcholine है, can we use this acetylcholine therapeutically? So let's see कि जब हम acetylcholine systemically inject करते हैं किसी भी patient की body में, what is the response? So when acetylcholine is injected into the circulation, it is getting rapidly destroyed by a very important enzyme, and the name of that particular enzyme is butyl cholinesterases, which is also known as pseudo cholinesterases, which is also known as non-specific cholinesterases. Now second problem is कि ये जो acetylcholine है, why we cannot use it therapeutically is because it is having very short half-life, and being a charged molecule, it cannot cross our blood-brain barrier. So because of all such kind of reasons, we are not using acetylcholine therapeutically. Now, what do we understand by the concept of butyl cholinesterases and true cholinesterases? So ये जो हमारे butyl cholinesterases होते हैं, they are mainly found in the plasma, they are found in the liver and glial cells. Now it can act on wide variety of esters including acetylcholine. इसीलिए इसका जो दूसरा नाम है, it is also known as non-specific cholinesterases. Now ये जो it cannot hydrolyze methacholine, so that is a very important concept. Now talking about the true cholinesterases. Now ये जो true cholinesterases होता है, they are mainly found in our cholinergic neurons. They are mainly found in the ganglia, RBCs and neuromuscular junction. So वहाँ पे जो acetylcholine release होता है synapse में, उसका जो degradation है, that is basically done by our true cholinesterases, and it mainly rapidly hydrolyzes our acetylcholine and methacholine. So that was all for this particular video lecture. In our next video lecture, we are going to see more such drugs which are directly acting on our muscarinic receptor. So अगर आपने video lecture यहाँ तक देखा है, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Press that bell icon, like this video and share it with your friends. See you in the next video lecture. Till then, take care. See ya. Bye bye.